everyone, welcome to today's video, and today I'll be doing the end of the year book tag. Now I have a cup of tea in here that I really hope I don't spill because that has happened before a few times. I just don't know where to put it and I keep on doing the same mistakes because I never learn, but yeah, anyway. So I think this tag is not super duper popular, but it sounded interesting to me and I was like, why not just do it? So the end of the year is approaching, which to many is a bliss and to others is just a misunderstanding. I don't know where I lie on the spectrum because I cannot understand how this year is coming to an end, but it simultaneously feels like it's been dragging on forever. Like 2020 is just, it's a mess. It's a horrible, horrible mess. And I kind of want it to be over, but at the same time, the problems won't go away, so I guess we just have to wait and see. But without further ado, let's just get right into this tag. First question being, are there any books that you started this year that you need to finish? Now, I'm the very moody type of reader that sometimes will start a book and just put it down, just not continue reading and kind of forget about it. And this is what happens very, very often, actually, not just sometimes. So I was thinking about this question, but then I realized I don't remember what books I started that I haven't finished. Like, at some point, I tried reading all of the books that I have in my TBR, probably, but just put them down. And I don't know if it counts or not. But anyway, the only book that I could think of for this question would probably be The Kingdom of Bag by Mary Lou, which is something I was really, really excited about, like in April when I started this channel. And I would talk about it a lot, and then I started reading it, and I could not get into it. But it's been so long that I feel like at this point it's more of a DNF, and I'm just gonna donate it somewhere or something. I don't even have it with me because I thought there's very little chance that I'm gonna read it. I would like to give it another go. I was so hyped about this book because it combines magic with music, which is something that just sounded so amazing to me, but unfortunately I just couldn't get into it, and it was kind of a bit of a disappointment for me. So maybe I won't be finishing that. Aside from that, I have a book for my book club that I have been postponing forever because I was scared to get into it, and that's The Vegetarian by Han Kang. I don't really know what this book is about. I haven't gotten very far in, but I'll try to finish it like today or tomorrow. It's a pretty short book. So it follows a married couple, and they're pretty ordinary. They don't really love each other at all. They are just leading very ordinary lives. And one day the wife decides to stop eating meat, and that sort of turns their world upside down. But it's just, I don't know how to describe this book. I don't know what's gonna happen. My friends told me that it's just gonna get weirder and weirder. I kind of can't wait to figure out what is happening in this book. I hope that I do figure this out. It's definitely out of my comfort zone, which I always appreciate because I like to be pushed out of my comfort zone in terms of books and anything else. So yeah, just definitely gonna get through this one in the next 2 days or something, but just wanted to put it out there because it kind of counts, and that's the only good answer I have in here. The next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? Now, as I'm recording this, it is the middle of November, so autumn has started roughly almost 2 months ago, almost 2 months ago, and it's closer to winter than it is to the beginning of autumn. But that doesn't matter because either way, I'm not really the type of person who reads certain books in a certain season. Like, I just read whatever I feel like reading. I always usually read fantasy and maybe more contemporary in the summer, but that's usually the two genres that I read for. But I did read sort of an autumnal book that definitely helped me transition into autumn, though I did read it like last month, but never mind, and that's Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. This is I don't want to say Halloween sort of book because it's centered around Dia de los Muertos. It takes place, I think, I want to say LA, but I'm not entirely sure, somewhere in America. So basically the concept behind the fantasy world in this book, not really a fantasy world, it's more like an urban fantasy. The concept is that there's a group of people who are able to see spirits and talk to them and help them get to the peaceful afterlife once they're done with all their stuff on Earth. And there is a boy in this family that is part of the, how do I call this, clan, not clan, I don't know, like part of these people who are able to see spirits. And he is transgender, but he's not really accepted by his community because they're very like traditional and conservative, blah blah blah. So he wants to prove himself and prove that he has the abilities that other brujos, which is the male people in this clan with magic powers. And as he's doing that, he comes across the spirit of a guy he kind of faintly recognizes, I think, and they start falling in love. And that is quite problematic. That's one thing. But the other thing is that things start getting out of control. There's a lot of mystery going on, and there's some murder that isn't explained. It's not really a murder mystery. I don't want to advertise it as such, but it definitely helped me get into the autumnal mood. There was a lot of like Dia de los Muertos themes everywhere because they were preparing for that. That was just so lovely to read about. It's such a warm, comforting read that I heard so much about it. I just had to give it a go. The audiobook is really amazing, so I highly recommend that too. Yeah. The next question is, what are the 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Let's get into this. So I'm trying to be realistic here, because I always say, I mean, in the past videos I've been saying I want to read this before the end of the year, but like, let's be realistic for once. Can't believe I'm saying it. I'm gonna show you 3 books that I really hope I get to and that I have a high chance of getting into. So the 2 books that I think I will most likely get to this year is 2 that you've heard me talk about a lot, so I'm just going to briefly go through this. Siege and Storm and Run and Rising by Leigh Bardugo, the 2nd and the 3rd book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy that I've had for a while now, and I really wish I had already read them when I read the first one, but I didn't. Anyway, they're here now, and I just want to say I'll read this one this year, but if I read this one, I'll probably be like really addicted to the whole world and the characters and the plot, so I'll probably just get into this one as well. So I think these 2, or at least this one, is something that I really would like to get to this year, and something that I think I probably will get to this year. And the 2 other books that I have in here, I don't have to count this as one, but I'm gonna count it as one. I'm not gonna be realistic, you know, let's just go back to the good old me. The 2nd book is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Now I think that Ariel and Raylene from Books and Bound are doing like a book club with this book. I don't know, but I am using this as an excuse, or rather a motivation, to actually get into this, because I've been hearing a lot about it, and I just really want to read it, and it feels sort of like a winter read, says me, after saying that I don't read certain books in certain times of the year. But this feels like a good book to read right now, something maybe just light and entertaining, and also kind of important. I mean, discussing important topics. I just know this is about a bunch of strangers that are trying to fix mistakes from the past. They go into a cafe, there's some time travel, and they need to return before the coffee gets cold. Something like that, but it sounds super cool. I feel like this is also the type of book that would be nice to buddy read, so I need to think about that. But yeah, there's also a cat on the cover, so definitely would appreciate I would appreciate myself if I got into this year. And the 3rd book, I don't think I'll get to it this year. But the question is, you want to read. It's something you want to read before this year ends. So I'm going with The Waiter by Matthias Tvaldbakken. And I have no idea what this book is about. None at all. I think it's just, it caught my eye in the bookstore before we went into lockdown in the UK. I just went into a bookstore and I just got a bunch of books. And I saw this one and it looked kind of interesting. I think it's from the perspective of a waiter, and he's waiting for some beautiful woman, but he's observing dramas of different clients, stuff like that. The fact that it's written from his perspective was just something really intriguing to me, sort of like a bystander who most books don't really pay attention to. So yeah, I just would like to get into this one, so that's what I'm saying here. And I did skip one question, so now I'm going back to it. Is there any new release you're still waiting for? And actually, the main release that I was waiting for this year was the Invisible Life is Addie LaRue by V. Schwab, which is like my favorite book of the year. I uploaded a book talk if you would be interested in seeing that. But it was just so amazing, and somehow I forgot that there are more books coming out this year, and I was just so focused on this one and anticipating it so much that I didn't pay attention to anything else. But recently in V. Schwab's stories, I saw that she wrote a story for like a short story YA collection, A Universe of Wishes. We Need Diverse Books anthology by a bunch of different authors, and I am very excited about this book because first of all, V. Schwab wrote a story for it which features Alucard and Luke. Alucard and Rye. So I'm super excited about this one. I just love V. Schwab's Darker Shade of Magic trilogy so much with my whole heart, and I'm so excited to read this one. So I'll get the whole book just for this one short story. But I'm also really excited because it feels like this book will feature a lot of diverse stories, hopefully some diverse cast, and give some unique perspectives. I think I've never read a YA anthology or a short story collection, so I really am looking forward to this one, and it's coming out the 8th of December, so there's still some waiting, but I can do it. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? No. I mean, with the competition of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I just cannot imagine what I'd have to read that would just be better than this, because this just blew my mind. I keep on thinking about, there's no day that I don't think about this book. It was so beautiful and mesmerizing and so emotional, and just I was so immersed in this story that I can't imagine what I'd read, especially from the books I have here, but even like some books that I could just pick up along the way, I can't imagine what it would have to be for me to love it more than this book. So never say never, but no, I don't think so. Have you already started making reading plans for 2021? No, I never make reading plans. I mean, I think about what I could want to or would feel like reading in the next week or two, or yeah, I buy a lot of books and stuff, but I don't really make reading plans. I mean, I don't set the Goodreads reading goal because I don't like it and it used to stress me out, and I don't see a point for me in using it as a way to track my reading. I mean, I do set a goal, which is one because I do want to see like what I read in the year. I think a reading goal that would be non-numerical for me would be to read more diverse stories from authors from all around the world, not just UK, European, or just not UK or US, maybe some translated works. This is something I've been trying to incorporate more, but hasn't been going so very well. So I definitely would like to try diversify my books. Maybe try some different genres, which is something I always think about, but I end up always reading the same YA fantasy stuff. Not that it's bad, but I would like to get out of my comfort zone and read some challenging books, definitely. I'm happy with how my reading has been going this year. I feel like I haven't been really pushing myself to read. I mean, sometimes yes, but it's mostly been just a fun ride with me enjoying books, enjoying buying books as always, and just being happy with reading, which is something that I look forward to in 2021, and I hope I can also make that work. So yeah, that would be that. I did not spill my tea, which is great. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'd really love to hear what books are in your TBR before the end of the year, what new release you're looking forward to. I'd love to hear about that because I really don't know what else to look forward to but the Universe of Wishes that I found very recently. So yeah, I hope you're having a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!